Or maybe I should even say, if you feel like you're stuck and you haven't seen any significant growth, your branding is most likely, your positioning, part of branding, is holding you back. So I want to help you break through that ceiling into the next level because, girl, there is so much more for you in your gifts that you offer people. Welcome to Elevate Your Brand. This is your go-to podcast for Christian women entrepreneurs who are tired of hustle culture, blending into the marketplace, and desperately wanting financial freedom. Hey, I'm Meghan, multi-six-figure entrepreneur, wife, mom, and your new visionary bestie. I learned the secret of how to multiply my business and stand out as a specialist. Luxury branding. If you're ready to learn how to take your business from ordinary to extraordinary, be a financial blessing to others, and multiply what God has entrusted to you, grab your laptop and grab your coffee, girlfriend. This one is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. Before we dive in today, I want to personally invite you to mark your calendars for September 15th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, United States. I know there's a lot of you that listen from all over the world, and I'm so grateful for every single one. And if you can make it, it would be amazing to see you there. I'm hosting a free masterclass where we're going to go deeper as a group on exactly what kind of intentional brand strategy you need in this season right now. So if you've ever wondered whether your branding is actually communicating what you want it to, this is for you. The link is in the show notes, so I want you to grab your spot. Now let's dive in. So today we're actually going to be talking about color. Stuff that goes side and side with branding. When people think of branding, they think of pretty fonts and a great logo and colors. So I want to bring this, though, always biblically, that God did not create color by accident. And here's what I mean. He didn't create it randomly. Every color created carries meaning, emotion, psychological weight, and a vibrational energy. Now, I don't want to scare you. This is not a new age woo-woo topic. We all know that the enemy wants to take what is God's and turn it into something that is his own. That's not what we're doing here. Your brand palette should also, though, be chosen in a way that carries this same kind of intentionality. So before you go pick any other brand colors, did you Google or Pinterest pretty color palettes? What did you put in that search bar to find the current color palette that you're using for your brand? Sometimes, I've even done it myself, I just scroll Pinterest until something catches my eye. I'm like, oh, I like that color palette. That looks nice. It just felt right in the moment, right? Most entrepreneurs, they choose their colors, though, based on personal preference or aesthetic trends. And that is exactly why most brands are not communicating what they need to be in their colors. I know, your brand actually does speak things before you ever say a word. So the truth is that color is not just a vibe, it is a language. And luxury brands speak it with a very strategic manner. So let's bring this all to the feet of Jesus and bring in the biblical foundation into God with color. So in Genesis, God created color as part of creation intentionally. The variety of richness of the natural world that we live in was designed not by accident, but with so much purpose. And then what did he say after he created the world that we live in now? It is good. Everything that you see, if you just look up, whether you're listening to me on your phone, in your car, in your kitchen, cooking dinner, wherever you are right now, I want you to just pause. And if there's a window nearby, I want you to just gaze out the window and just take in the awe of his nature, of his creation, of the colors, the blueness of the sky, if the sun is coming up or setting right now, what are the different colors that you see? The green of the trees. Right now I'm looking out at a pasture with 2 brown horses in it. It's just amazing to me, the intentionality behind God's creation. Let's look at the tabernacle. God specified exact colors for every element. That is such intentional. There's a purpose behind it. He instructed blue, purple, scarlet red, gold, and each carried a spiritual and symbolic meaning. And so real quick, I'm going to tell you what those are. So blue represents the heavens, the sky, and divine origin of God. And it reminds observers of God's throne and his holy commandment. And when we read in Revelations that his throne is like lapis lazuli. It's a beautiful deep blue with gold speckle woven inside of it. It's a beautiful stone if you've never seen it before. Purple signifies royalty, high status, and supreme authority. And in those days, it was made from a very costly dye. It was not easy to make. It was expensive to make purple. And purple actually does portray God as the King of Kings and points to absolute majesty. So scarlet or crimson red denotes blood. Of course, it's a very easy representation of what Jesus did on the cross. And in that time when they were building the tabernacle, the Lord had not come yet, but everything is pointing to Jesus coming in the Old Testament. It symbolizes the profound sacrifice that God and Christ did for us. It's atonement and a serious cost required to bridge that gap between sinful humanity and a holy God. And of course, when we think of gold, we think of richness and royalty and high wealth. Now let's get into the rainbow. God's promise. God used color as a covenant symbol. Color communicates something so much deeper than just the aesthetic of our brand. It can convey a promise. It communicates so much more than we, I think, even give it credit for. So if God is that intentional about color in Scripture, our brand palettes deserve the same exact level of intentionality. So now let's dive into what is the psychology of color. Now we're taking it a little bit more into our present time of what we know about what color actually does to our mind and our nervous system and our emotions. So what is color psychology? It is actually the study of how colors affect human behavior, emotions, and perception. It's not a new concept. It's actually been used in marketing and architecture, hospitality, retail for decades. And by understanding that color triggers a subconscious emotional response before the brain actually even consciously processes anything else is an important and vital part of taking your branding to the next level. So basically, your ideal client is forming an opinion about you and your brand based on the colors before they read a single word. Yikes. So I want to help you here. If you feel like you just chose colors on a whim, or you just chose a color and not maybe a color palette, or maybe you're like, I don't even know if these colors even go together. This is where the artistic side comes in to creating a brand, which is really fun for me. So I talk a lot about going to luxury level in your branding, and I want to get something straight right now. Luxury does not mean expensive. It does not. When I say luxury, it's super intentional. And luxury, I guess, is the best way to explain elevated. So if you are ready to bring your brand up to the next level, if you feel like your current branding is keeping you possibly from expansion or growth or scaling within your business, or maybe I should even say, if you feel like you're stuck and you haven't seen any significant growth, your branding is most likely, your positioning part of branding, is holding you back. So I want to help you break through that ceiling into the next level because, girl, there is so much more for you in your gifts that you offer people. And so when we think of luxury brands that are very intentional of who they serve, how they're positioned, where their price points are, what they offer, they choose their colors that communicate exclusivity, trust, elegance, authority, and most oftenly, calmness. So they don't have to be loud and extravagant in order to get anybody's attention. They sit where they sit. They know where they are. They don't come down from that level to try to serve more people. They actually ask people to come up to their level, and that's not actually a bad thing. When we're encouraging people to come higher in their life, maybe there's some people that you even know in your own sphere of influence that they can't afford your services now, but maybe you've even dipped your prices down or given some people a discount, and they've taken that for granted from you. And before I go on down a rabbit hole about pricing, because this is not what this episode is about at all, when you're intentional about your positioning, you say what you do, who you help, what you offer, and you stay there. And you invite people in a loving way up to that level. Because as we encourage people to grow, we also grow. So luxury brands, they actually rarely use more than 2 to 3 colors in their palette. It's a restraint of a luxury brand or an elevated brand. And even if you think about it, most big, even some box brands, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, I'm just naming businesses that a lot of people know around the world, they only use 2 to 3 colors as well because it's easily recognizable. You don't want to be using all the colors in the rainbow for your branding. You want all of your colors to be matching across the board of all of your marketing, from your website to your social media. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe you're on TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook, or name your platform that you choose to find your people. So I want you to also think about the brands that you recognize instantly without ever having to read the name. Tiffany & Company. That specific shade of robin egg blue is instantly recognizable to a lot of people, especially women. Hermes, they're orange. Chanel, black and white. Now, mostly, I feel like more people know Chanel of the logo symbol, which is a totally another topic for another conversation. But you do not need to see their logo in order to know who they are, because the color is their identity. You trying to catch my drift now? And that level of recognition is only possible through restraint and consistency. And I know I love so many different colors, and I see color palettes and I'm like, oh, maybe I should change my color to this. I'm like, nope, no, just stop. Stay in your lane and just stop. Now, if something isn't working in my business or working in my brand, then yes, maybe I might start to make some subtle changes here and there. But I don't want you to do anything until you talk to somebody that knows what it is that is the deep psychology on color in what you offer. But I just want you to be taking these as mental notes in the back of your brain. So when a brand uses like 10 colors across every single platform, it becomes visually unrecognizable, and there's no single color palette that the brain can lock onto and associate with that specific brand. But when a brand actually commits to only 2 to 3 colors and uses them with absolute consistency across every touch point, the color itself becomes the brand recognition. So your goal is for your ideal client to see your color and think of you before she ever reads your name. And having restraint in a color palette communicates confidence. It says, I don't need to shout to be noticed. I just need to sit where I am, where I've been positioned, and have people come to me because I'm speaking to the people that will know and recognize and love my brand for what I have to offer for this specific demographic. You don't need to use every single color in order to prove that you have something to offer. I am so clear on who I am and who I serve that I can say it in only 2 colors and mean it completely. Now, if you look at my website and color palette, you'll see shades of probably 3 to 4 or 5 different colors. But there's white and black for font purposes mostly, or background purposes. And the 3 colors that I use most consistently are a pale gold, a pale-ish pink, and then a deep dusty rose color. And these colors were actually chosen very specifically. So if we think on luxury brands, they're not trying to catch the eye of everyone. They are designed to stop the right eye. So if we think back to the Tabernacle really quick, God used this same color restraint in building the Tabernacle. Every single element pointed to the same thing: His glory, His holiness, His presence. And your brand palette works the same way. Every color point should point to the same thing: your calling, your client, your standard of excellence. And when you add more colors than necessary, you actually start diluting the message. Crazy, I know. So think of a restraint as a focus rather than a restraint itself. Think of it as a good thing rather than a box that's holding you back from where you could go. So for your homework, I want you to look at your current brand colors. And I want you to actually look up what each color means. What does it convey? Even if it's a tone or hue of, say, a red or a green, maybe you're using a turquoise or a pink or mauve, or you get the drift. Browns, earth tones, stuff like that. I want you to write all of your colors down, and then I want you to do a chat GPT it if you need to. Claude is my main man. I love using Claude. To get a deeper description meaning of your color palette and possibly what it is conveying over. Now, I'm not saying use AI all the time. It's just a good tool to get you started. And are your colors consistent? And now I want you to look at your marketing. Your second form of your homework today is to look at all of your marketing. Are your colors across every single platform that you use for your marketing? Are your colors on your packaging? Are they on your website? Are they on your signage? Your business cards? Everything you use should have all the same colors. And one last note is that elevated brands don't choose their palette to just be quote unquote pretty. It's chosen to be strategic. So if you're looking for better strategy on your brand, and if this episode had you looking at your own color palette differently, I want to see you at my free masterclass on September 15th. Mark it on your calendar right now. The link for the registration is in the show notes. Yes, again, it is free. We're going to spend an hour-long time together, and we're just going to deep dive on things of taking your brand up to the next level. We're going to go into building strategy that is intentional from your colors all the way through to every touch point your client experiences. So until next time, my friends, be well, have fun with your colors, and God bless. Hey girl, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this with a friend who may want to scale her business without relying on hustle? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It lights me up to know that this podcast is helping you. Okay, time to go reheat my coffee, be a mom, and a CEO. I'm excited to meet you right back here for another episode. Until then, God bless.